Let's set the tempo to 110 beats per minute, and we're going to have this in a key of E minor. The first track of the 6 is the timpani, to give that bass drum thump that goes with the epic music genre. For this, I'm going to use the timpani hits from the East-West libraries. You can use whichever one you happen to have handy. It doesn't make any difference. And change this to percussion track. Zoom that up by double clicking. Drag the percussion generator in. Right click it. Go into the generator tab and delete the hi-hat and the snare because we just want the bass drum. Click the rhythm edit and we're going to subdivision. We'll choose 4, but you could turn it down or turn it up depending which method you want, however busy you want it. And it doesn't really matter about changing the rhythm pattern just now. We're going to do something more with that later. So I'm now going to add another track, which is the snare, which gives it that kind of military feel because we want to do epic battle sort of music. And again, I'm going to use the Opus VST. And I'm just going to choose the 3 snares patch. Like that. Again, we make this a percussion track. Double click. Bring in the percussion generator. Right click the phrase. And we delete the hi-hat. And we delete the bass drum. And I'm going to change the offset to 0 because I want the snare on the downbeat. Like that. Again, subdivisions. I'll turn this up to probably 8. We could go more busy or less. So that sort of marching rhythm, which works so well with this kind of music. Now, we need something in the middle, some filling, and some rhythm and some motion. So we're going to use some staccato strings. And I'll drag in a staccato string generator. I want this to be quite busy, so we'll turn the number of voices down to 8 and have it a very high sort of pattern, which is quite busy. And the instrument I'll use for this are the original's Epic strings. Very good value. I think they're about £29, might be slightly more now. But they're quite good for just sketching with. We use the short ostinato patch. It's a fairly quiet patch, I might have to turn it up. Just change the rhythm. Yeah. Can't hear it against those drums, so I'm going to have to turn those down a little just while we get some of the levels right. I'll turn the strings right up, turn the drums down, maybe that just a little bit more. Okay, we see what's happening there. And this is just 4 chords in this particular section. 4 bars of music. We can expand on that later. I'm going to do the same thing now, but for the woodwinds. And again, I'm going to bring in a staccato generator. Choose a high pattern. We'll go down maybe to 6 voices. I think I might put that up a little bit actually in a second. And we'll use the Epic brass and woodwinds from Spitfire. Again, I think they're £29, something. Now let's give it a listen. Just solo that out. Okay, that's on the low side, so let's increase that by a couple of octaves. It's where it needs to be. And each preview in context. Turn that down slightly and we'll apply that, and I think we'll go with that because it complements the strings nicely. That works quite well. What I'm going to do is to just put on the randomizers and put it on loop, and we'll get a different variation each time around. Here's the repeat. You see the phrases regenerating on each loop there. Right, well we need some kind of melodic element to this. One of the things RapidComposer is very good at is having phrase generators that can be used for different things from what they're actually labelled as. So I'm just going to put this track in as brass melodic. Again, I'm going to use some east-west sounds on this, but whatever you have that will work best for you, or what you've got in your libraries. I've already built a brass ensemble, which will give me a nice low brass as well. And what I'm going to do for this is to actually take a piano chord pattern generator, even though it's brass. And this will be a randomized one as well. Right click it. I'm going into the rhythm, and I'm going to use one of the obsolete rhythms, the probabilistic rhythm. Very useful. Set it to a quarter note, and we'll take the density up to about 88%. We want notes pretty much all the time. So let's have a listen to this. Well, that's pretty good. Because it randomizes on each loop, you're getting kind of like a different melody each time. But of course, you're playing over the same chords, so you might want to do something slightly different with that. Just to add a little bit more flavour to it, I'm going to put some Woods melodic on it. And again, I use the piano chord generator to generate sort of like just a very basic melody with some harmony with it as well. It sounds quite good. I could use the live woodwinds patch on this. So listen. Yeah. Okay, so we can see how interesting that is. We're only using 6 tracks to actually create this sound. And of course, it would be needed to be mixed and mastered in your DAW, but this is just the sketch. I'm going to duplicate that part. And again, in the second part here, I'm going to make it more varied, because each time this goes around the loop, not only will the first part have its phrases regenerated, but this will also happen in the second part as well. So it gives us some nice procedurally generated action music. And then you could maybe stop and render some of that out if you find a patch that you particularly like that sounds the way you want it to. So now we've got these 2 parts in. If you wanted to, you could add a key change here if you wanted to. But for now, we'll just sort of leave that for where it is. So you've got those 2 parts, essentially the same chords. What I'm going to do now is to add another part to this, where I am going to change the chords around just a little bit. This is on part 3. So instead of starting this on E minor, we're going to start it on the 5th. Beg your pardon, the 4th, which is A minor, and then go back to E minor.